What up, nerds, and welcome to another rat-faced episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 482, recorded Monday, June 24th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by Matt S. The movie is The Witches from 1990. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
What is none of your business?
Yes.
How's it going, man? Your boy is feeling like refried shit today. So, this should be real fun. I'm going to keep the energy light and very nice, and then I'm going to pass out in my chair probably for the rest of the night as soon as we've hit the record button again.
Fantastic. Thanks for hanging in. Even though you're feeling like shit, you're a true professional, showing up, doing the job. No rest.
True professional. That's the only metric by which we gauge that.
That's what everybody says show up on iTunes.
You're a professional.
These guys are true professionals. Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Absolute Nutter Stains. I can't believe it's not Nutter.
Nutter?
Yeah, the Brits. They got the crazy lingo. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It took me
She's an absolute nutter.
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 That fucking Bruno
Say it
kid
again.
in this
I
movie.
needed to do the British accent.
Oh, God.
Let's do it.
That Bruno kid hates margarine with a passion. Hates it.
You're off your bleeding nut.
You're
right.
bleeding nutter. It's bleeding bloody nutter.
Hey, what movie is that
Everything's
from?
bleeding.
Yeah. Why? God damn.
Yeah,
They're so violent over there.
It's a very Catholic area. So
Those
lots
red
of blood.
coats.
Oh,
Totally.
What is happening? Is it me having a fever dream, or does this not make sense at all?
Randy, you're tripping balls.
Oh, God.
I'm a bloody ghost.
Oh, fuck. Am I in the show BBC Ghosts?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Boys.
Oh, God.
Let's jump into some housekeeping here real quick. A lot of stuff actually to tackle. The year's like halfway over, which is insane.
Don't say those things to me.
Blowing my mind.
How dare you?
We're just a couple weeks away from Halloween season, baby.
Dude, like
Oh,
4 months from just Halloween, actual proper Halloween. It's insane.
Pumpkins.
Pumpkin. I mean, that's a third of the year, but that's, okay.
I mean, 6 months has flown, baby. What's another 4?
Yeah.
I say that to say this is your final reminder. Our July poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this July. The theme for July is getting weird with it. This was my takeover month, and I chose 3 weird-ass movies about some serial killers.
All right, well, why don't we tell the crowd why you chose these? I think that you probably chose these because you're a sadist and
Yes.
you want us all to suffer.
Correct.
I thought Bob really just related to the characters in this story.
Also correct. I worked in an
I
ice
see
cream
myself
store.
represented in film.
I
says
love
Bob.
Grease and Nightmare Beaches.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
I have seen you quite greasy on a beach, Bob, so that all tracks.
Slamming ice cream.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
So greasy, the sunscreen wouldn't even rub into your skin.
Dude, that's still one of my favorite visuals. Is Rob rubbing goddamn suntan lotion on
For like 10
like
minutes.
a full 5-10 minutes, and it's just staying. It's just
It
staying.
won't get
Rob
absorbed.
is a pod person.
Yeah, Rob is not human because we used the exact same bottle, didn't we?
Yeah, it just
What the
went
fuck?
into our skin like normal.
Looked
Rob's
like,
pores are micro.
like somebody just painted me white.
It's, that's protection if you I guess if you think about it.
That was a funny moment.
The 3 movies are The Greasy Strangler, Nightmare Beach, and Ice Cream Man. Got a few more days left to vote. Get it done.
All right. How those numbers
I have
looking,
no
Bob?
further questions.
Bob! How are those numbers looking?
Pretty much about the same. Ice Cream Man first place, 42% of the vote. Nightmare Beach with 33% of the vote. And then finally, Greasy Strangler, 24% of the vote. We're going to talk about the Greasy Strangler one day. I swear. It's going to happen.
At some point, you got to retire.
Dude.
That's been on like 10 polls.
It's got to happen. It's so fucking
including
weird.
Several of your takeovers.
Yeah. I've put it on at least 2. At least.
Oh my God.
It's been around. It's been around the block.
Yeah. Get your votes in for the end of the month. We'll see what we're talking about this July. And other Patreon news. We're dropping mini casts every other Friday. Recently, we dropped one where I was talking about In a Violent Nature. Next up, dropping Friday, July 5th. You got your boy Randeezy on the mic talking about stop motion.
Whoa. I need to finish that. I started and it was like really cool looking visuals and stuff like that. Good to see stop motion back in swing.
Can't stop it.
It's a cool little movie.
It's always
an
an
interesting movie, and man, I rambled like a motherfucker on that episode, so that should be great listening too.
Sweet.
It's on Shudder.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one yet. Heard some good rumblings.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe I should check it out. In other Patreon news, we just yesterday, at the time of us recording this show, reopened the You Pick the Flick tier for the final time this year.
Possibly forever. We discussed this last week. We don't know if it'll ever open again. We'll see.
You fearmonger.
Justin's cult has a doomsday already, and it's before the new year, so
really bang it out while you can, folks.
Yeah.
Get it in while you can get it in.
I'm going to look for a guy with a round, muscular butt.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Only
butt step.
That's the only place you can touch me, on the butt. We reopened the You Pick the Flick tier. It was 10 spots. They went to 10 people. Congratulations for everybody that was able to grab a spot. They went pretty quickly, still, even with 10 spots. So congratulations to Logan, Miles, Brandon, Nate, Naderade, Lou, Gabriel, G-Baby, Vince, and the Librarian.
All right.
Yeah. Well done, patrons.
That's like the heart with the squad right there.
Bravo.
It is, yeah.
I know several people were just like refreshing for hours. I feel kind of bad when people say that. Like,
especially because we waited till 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Totally.
Eastern. I'm just
Totally.
just making them refresh all day.
I felt bad, but I didn't feel that bad enough.
If I was in charge,
make several jokes about the time already coming to pass. Like, oh, they're gone. Just kidding.
Wait till 11:40 p.m.
And it's live. Everybody's asleep. Nobody gives a shit anymore. So, thanks for grabbing a spot, guys. Get those U picks in if you haven't already, and we'll be adding you to the list. And that's all I got, folks. You guys have anything you need to plug?
My house is clean.
I have one thing which I mentioned last week, which is that I'm on a new episode of Waxing the Porpoise with our boys Jim and Steve, talking about Lake Mungo, the found footage faux documentary from Australia. Fuck documentary. No, that's
not a porno. It's a fuck doc.
That's on the VHS tapes in my lower cabinet. No, this is a
extra
very moody found footage thing. Yeah. Of course. It's my poop tapes, as we call them. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I have as just that. Thanks very much to those guys at Waxing the Porpoise for hosting me on that episode. We had a good time. Check it out on podcast catchers of your choice.
Nice. I think we're clean.
Right.
We're clean, boys.
We're all the way clean. Oh.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about The Witches. Let's kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, I saw you had this box.
I do. I got it on the Blu-ray.
All right.
Warner Brothers.
Got to.
How's that release? Good release.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, it's fine. There's like
looks standard.
Yeah, there's not really any bonus features on it, but it is, a movie on a disc that I'm holding and can watch anytime I want to. There you go.
There you go.
That's my pitch.
Brag about it.
Anytime you want to, except when the electricity goes out.
Not if you have a generator.
Except when you want to watch something on your phone.
So The Witches from 1990. This was rated PG with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. This was directed by Nicolas Roeg, based on a story by Roald Dahl. The screenplay was written by Alan Scott. Stars Angelica Houston, Mai Zetterling, Jason Fisher, Rowan Atkinson is also in this one, Bill Patterson, and my personal favorite, your boy Charlie Potter playing Bruno in this.
That's your favorite.
My favorite.
We've got 3 cars.
Oh, we know.
Bloody nutters.
Hell yeah. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. A young boy stumbles onto a witch convention and must stop them even after he has been turned into a mouse.
Oh my God.
Gentlemangs. I love how you just fuck the bump and just do it yourself.
Yeah, Randy generating enough energy to get that one out.
I'm going to replace the bumps with my 10% energy reads.
You
instead.
can't
Is that cool?
piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
There's going to be hell to pay.
Gentlemen, have you seen this movie before, and would you recommend folks check it out? Randeezy, kick us off.
Yeah, I've seen this movie a good number of times. This is definitely one that I watched as a kid growing up. I vividly remember watching this in a classroom setting, like a substitute day or something like that.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how many times I've seen it, but I want to say it's probably closing in on double digits. But it has been a while. I definitely recommend this for families, like a family viewing or whatever. It's good entry level horror for kids under 10, I would say, maybe over 5 or 6, right in that sweet spot there. I think for adults who like Roald Dahl and things like that, it's worth looking into. If you're big into Jim Henson, this is a Henson production as well, and has some of his hallmark great practical effects and so on, makeup work. So for those reasons, I would recommend it. Yeah. If you're not into any of that stuff, then probably not for you.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I'd seen this before. I've seen it several times as well. And I would say, yeah, this is top tier for kind of like must watch children's horror. If you've got kids, you want to introduce them to some horror, or you're just feeling like something light yourself, then I think that this is brings a lot to the table. And I will say though that as an adult, this watch, I think I wasn't in that particular mood, I found. And so it was a little bit more taxing on me just kind of like watching it by myself. So it's not an absolute, it's no like Nightmare Before Christmas or something as far as like the kids horror levels type goes, but it's good. It's like generally I've always like enjoyed watching it. So yeah, I would recommend people check this out. Bob, how about you?
Good shit. Definitely get some good shit in there for you. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, I'd seen this before as a kid. I don't know how many times, but I remember there's like certain moments of this movie that's just like seared into my brain that I haven't seen this in at least a decade. And as the movie was playing, there are moments that hit that I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Just like,
oh God, yeah, that's the spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 3 cars.
Oh God, yes.
I got Roald Dahl. Yes.
That scalp skin. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Jesus Christ.
Weird. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Sort of a blast from the past in that way. I definitely think this is a hitter when it comes to children's horror, like spooky stuff for kids. It's actually like kind of scary. Scared me as a kid anyways. So yeah, if you got young ones, show it to them maybe around Halloween. You know, it'd be kind of perfect to watch this and like, you know, Gremlins or something, you know, nice double feature. But yeah, it's not made for adults. So it's, you know, if the first time you're watching it, you're in your 30s, you're probably not going to love it. But it does exactly what it sets out to do, I think. So yeah, check it out. It's worth watching. Pretty much, I'd call that a solid recommendation.
Yeah.
From the three of us here. So
qualified. Check
out The Witches, and if you haven't already, we're going to spoil the shit out of this. And here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, do you have this plot synopsis?
I got it for
All
you,
right.
and only for you.
Hit me with it.
Nobody else listened to this. This is just for Justin.
All right.
You got it, boss.
Skip ahead 10 minutes, everyone.
10 minutes. I'll be quicker than that.
I don't believe you.
So here we go. Vacationing in Norway, his grandmother Helga, with his grandmother Helga, 8-year-old Luke learns about the existence of real witches. His grandmother says they have no hair, but wear wigs that give them rashes. They also have no toes, and they have purple eyes. Grandma also tells a story of her childhood friend Emily being cursed by a witch to live out her life trapped in a painting. After Luke's parents die in a car accident, Helga becomes his legal guardian. On Luke's 9th birthday, his grandma's diagnosed with diabetes, and the doctor says they ought to spend the summer by the sea to help somehow.
That's that British medical system.
Right? Just go by the water.
Diabetes? Well, go hang out by the beach.
You need some salt. They go stay at a very beautiful seaside hotel where Luke befriends a gluttonous young boy named Bruno. There's also an annual witch convention happening at the hotel under the guise of the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Luke hides in the ballroom. You're a monster! They are. Luke hides out in the ballroom as the Grand High Witch addresses her audience. She explains all witches will buy candy stores and on opening day give out free candy to all the children. However, the candy will be laced with Formula 86, which will turn all the children in England into mice. She gave Bruno a poisoned chocolate bar earlier and brings him on stage so the crowd can watch him transform into a mouse. The witches then smell Luke hiding out after some... They smell Luke hiding. Apparently kids smell like shit in this movie. So to witches
like
anyway.
Nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
They smell him and chase him around. There's a bit of cat and mouse tomfoolery. After that, they bring him back to the ballroom and they feed him the formula, and he also turns into a mouse. He scampers off and meets up with Bruno. They, with the help of Grandma, steal a vial of Formula 86 from the Grand High Witch's ballroom. They plan to poison the witch's dinner. Grandma tries to return Bruno to his parents, but they're terrified by mice. They all enter the ballroom for dinner, except for the Grand High Witch's assistant, Susan Irvine, who has been banned from the dinner, and she quits. The witches all consume They all consume the poisoned soup and turn into mice. The other hotel patrons all begin killing the mice, thus ridding England of all of its witches. Bruno's parents finally accept that their son is indeed a mouse. Luke and his grandma return home with the Grand High Witch's trunk, which is full of money, and an address book with a list of all the witches in America. That night, Miss Irvine visits Luke and turns him back into a human. He and his grandma plan to hunt down all the remaining witches in America and kill them. Roll them credits.
Rock flag and eagle!
That's right.
There is a naked prepubescent child at the end of this film. That's troubling.
Quite. Like you can
PG
kind of see everything.
Bob, you knocked it out in 3.5 minutes. There you go.
Hell yeah.
A story like this, you need to take your time with it.
A lot happening here.
Yeah. Big
like
story going on.
It's like 10 skips. So trying to help the listeners out for next time.
They want to hear it. But yeah, this movie, when I remember watching it as a kid, and it actually really did scare me. The practical effects, like when the witches are transforming and when the kids are transforming, like that Jim Henson like puppetry stuff is like super, super scary. And it's like lit in broad daylight too, so you can see everything. And it's like green and goopy and smoky, and I don't know, it really fucking scared me as a kid. Did you guys see this when you were younger? I assume so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I will say not only that, but I feel like Jim Henson is responsible for a lot of things that really troubled me as a child. But to be fair, even watching it as an adult, it's still as much stuff as we watch. This is gross. There's some gross shit in here for like a kid's horror movie. The effects in this are really like, the gold standard here, and like they kind of like probably the best aspect of this film. It's got a lot going for it, but it's like it's really gross. Their scalps and just like the fucking saggy skin and just it's so disgusting.
Well, the Grand High Witch alone, Angelica Houston is wearing just a boatload of fucking prosthetics. And she's unrecognizable, and when like she disappears into the role, even I think where like I don't see Angelica Houston when the Grand High Witch is in full swing. She's not Angelica Houston anymore. She's just like this fucking gleeful troll-looking motherfucker with insane hot dog fingers and shit. It's great. I don't know, like the effects are so good in those bits, but I will say like the way this movie is shot is so plain, I think. Like
really?
I don't know like if you guys disagree, but like I don't know, like it felt almost like made for TV at times with some of the like just general shots of the kids wandering or whatever. It didn't have like it felt like there was a quality disparity there for me.
I could see that. It doesn't bother me, but I could definitely see it.
I'm not saying it's a huge issue, but I was noticing it because I was being more critic guy in this one. Go ahead.
I thought
Bob.
there was some interesting camera work going on here that actually, like, specifically when we were following the mice around, or like when someone is transforming. Definitely not the whole movie, but like in like really intense action scenes, there was some like a lot of like really kinetic movement happening with the camera. In some situations, it even like kind of reminded me of some stuff that like Sam Raimi was doing in like The Evil Dead, like the way the camera was like following these tiny mice running all over the place. It kind of had that vibe for me. So that kind of stood out to me as like a positive, honestly.
Well, I think that we're talking about two different parts of the movie then, because like I agree that like there was a shot that I didn't connect it to Sam Raimi, but there was a shot when his parents are leaving where it's clearly on like a handy cam of some kind or whatever, and it reminded me of like a Monty Python movie, like where like it's just like kind of shaky cammed or whatever, and it's just but it's like got a kinetic movement to or whatever. It's not terrible when it's doing that sort of thing. It's when things are like placid and calm. It's like very like I think it's the color. Maybe the colors like I feel like aren't like I feel like they could be really amped up. Yeah,
it is tan
movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, except for when shit's like really popping off. But yeah, I also think like in addition to the really, really horrific practical effects in this, it's the flip side of the coin is like when Luke and Bruno are turned into mice, like when they're actually mice, they're like adorable. They're just these tiny little cute little mice.
They look good,
running around.
And actually, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of like a positive change for me because these kids are goobers.
They are.
They're little
it makes
goobers.
Them way more likable.
It does make them a lot more likable. And also, too, I mean, so that's a positive. I do agree with the mice being a positive, and they look great. So, yeah, it's just not it's not just going like full nasty with it. But I will say
nasty.
The word grandma is said a fucking bajillion goddamn times in this movie. Holy God, was it fucking annoying the shit out of me this time. It's like, holy God, we know it's your grandma.
I didn't notice that somehow. I'm sure
it was driving me crazy.
It didn't drive me crazy. Like, but you're totally right looking back. He definitely said that.
Like, he's just got this kind of tone to him too. Grandma.
The thing is, like, the kid actors in this, like they're not great. They're not great. I enjoy them, and they're kids or whatever, and they play authentically as kids. So there is some positive to that, but it makes it like, I don't know, the line reads in like in a vacuum just aren't good for the most part. And that's what makes it like the mice so much better, because they're more expressive somehow than the kids know how to be yet. Like
the puppets, are more.
They're better at conveying.
They do, they really do.
Jim Henson has been around the block. You know, he knows what he's doing. These kids don't.
He can make you fall in love with felt.
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious, though. He's in it.
It is. And I don't want to like diss on these kids too bad.
Kids
they're
are
just
stupid.
They feel authentic, and I got to give them credit for that. Like these feel like real kids.
But if you do, and that's why I was kind of saying, like, if you do a side by side, like I know Bob, you just recently watched it, but I know you had some problems with it. But if you took this and you put like the Goonies next to it, or even like Hocus Pocus or something, the acting level is significantly
there's a difference.
Different between those. So while I watched this movie, I was like, this is really good for kids, and it has that kind of innocent vibe. Like even for it's kind of, I guess maybe one of the more difficult things is the balance here, because the effects are so effective and there is some dark stuff going on here, but the tone is very younger child, almost like 5 or 6, just coming out of like a kind of like toddler state almost. That's what it feels. I don't know.
Third grade storytelling.
Yeah, the tone of it feels like very, very young. But then some of the effects are like, damn, that still fucks with me as an adult who's seen a lot of horror. So yeah, it's kind of a weird balance there.
I agree. And it's like, it's interesting that they went as hard as they did on that stuff, considering the tone they went for, which is in keeping with the Roald Dahl stories. Like those are very simple stories with very simple, like, you know, morality tales or whatever. And whatever you think of Roald Dahl, I grew up loving him, and like, I guess he was not a good dude. But setting all that aside, like, I think that there's something interesting about like you were pointing out, there's just something interesting about there being like Tales from the Crypt level effects, like grossness mixed with a like Willy Wonka level storytelling. You know what I mean? It's just very strange, and it makes it dreamier, and I like that about it.
Yeah, Willy Wonka is a good comparison. Like, you know, like that's the thing. The tone of this, I would even say it's even a little more childish than Willy Wonka. And
there's no poverty in this.
But I mean, the kid's parents die,
but grandma's loaded apparently. So
yeah, she is now. She has all the witch's money. Her even nondescript money.
Even grandma, sometimes the way sometimes she just seems kind of dumb, or I don't know. It's played so innocent or so childlike that you're like, even the adults aren't really making adult decisions here.
Grandma,
very, very broad.
I read into the movie that she was kind of playing dumb, maybe for the benefit of her grandson, because she was like some sort of opponent of the Grand High Witch earlier in life. So like, she knows what's going on. She knows about witches. She's kind of schooling them, but like maybe to not make them too terrified. I don't know. Like, she seems knowledgeable, right?
I don't know, but it's when shit's going down that she's like, I don't know. Like, she doesn't really like bring a lot of like know-how to the table. She knows how to identify these things, and that's all established the first lines of this movie. And then from there, she's like taken aback by every step of it. Her grandson, she gets drugged, her grandson gets turned into a mouse, and she resigns herself to that just being his fate after her like daughter and son just died. I don't know, like the way that she acts about things, like, okay, like taking Bruno the first time to his parents. Yeah. The way that she like reveals that to them is, it's so childlike in the way that she approaches it that I just feel like it feels very tailored to kids in every way, and there's no way I can ding this movie. And in
the way the parents respond to it, it's all kind of it's childlike, I guess. I mean, it's made for children, so it makes sense.
Exactly. Like, what am I going to like be pissed about that? It's why didn't they make this children's movie more adult? God damn it.
Well, yeah, no. But it is worth pointing out that I can still I mean, even so, we all have nostalgia for this, but I can watch like the Goonies or a Hocus Pocus without so much of that problem. Yeah, they still got maybe some of that, but you know, it's definitely shown a lot more
This is a younger,
just
aimed at a younger audience, I think.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
Like this was not doing the thing where they try and bridge to the older people in the family so much. At least not in any way, except for maybe the special effects. Those movies like Hocus Pocus is supposed to appeal to young kids, teens, and parents. It's appealing to everyone because there's like Madonna's tits jokes in that and whatever. Like.
Dude, but there's a whole little subplot here about
So
fucking
sad.
Mr. Bean fucking around.
Yeah, that was weird. I
Slamming one of the housekeepers, one of his employees, man.
Yeah.
That shit. There's some pretty funny stuff in this, to be honest. Like, the whole Mr. Bean thing is hilarious. The kids just smelling like literal dog shit, I thought was pretty funny.
Dog droppings.
Open up a can of whiff-ass.
But they don't say, like, when he's in the room, they don't say, I smell a child, or that's done a lot with witches. They're like, I smell dog droppings or whatever. It's such a weird thing.
I mean, I think that's very much the thing is, I think that's true to the book. If I'm remembering it right,
that might be kind of telling about the author. That shit is it's hilarious to me, though. I think that's very, very funny.
Yeah.
Kids really smell like shit.
The witches, they had that right.
Literal shit.
Bruno, I find pretty funny in this, and also his dad is like such a complete piece of shit.
I like Bruno's dad. Yeah, Bruno's dad cracks me up a lot.
Also pretty funny. So there's like some like adult humor because he's like trying to lay some mac down on the high witch,
that's
and
true.
like she's just not
but it feels
really
lighter than something like the Madonna jokes or whatever. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
It doesn't rely on cultural knowledge. It only relies on very broad stereotypes and conversations that adults might have, like with a blowhard dipshit, and having her be very dismissive of him.
Soup.
I love how Angelica Houston is like, Angelica Houston like blows him off so hard, and he's like trying to mac on her in front of his wife and shit. It's so weird.
Then the wife's just like, just happy about it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I assume there was some kind of like seduction thing going on, like a manipulation thing, but then she never really took it. Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. I thought was going to play out a little more.
I wouldn't read that into it just because he's like so consistently a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But maybe.
I don't think. I think he's just supposed to, like, the thing is, like, anything that's not directly narratively important to the kid,
Bruno,
and
Luke?
like the secret Luke, like everything that happens to Luke and Grandma, that's the story. All the other characters, like the dad or whatever, they're just archetypes. They're just there to maybe make a few one-off jokes that kids may or may not get, but just to sort of fill things out. Like, they're not, like, this movie is not trying to overburden itself at all, and that's wise, considering, like we said, who it's for. So I can't fault it too hard for that either, or at least I don't really want to.
There was something that I was waiting on, like, some dots to be connected. 'Cause, like I said, I haven't seen this movie in several years, so I didn't remember everything. But after Luke's parents pass away, his grandma buys him 2 mice. And then later in the movie, when they're turned into mice, I was like, well, maybe they didn't die. Maybe they were just turned into mice by witches. And at the end of the movie, they'll be turned back. Or when he's a mouse,
that's a good call.
He can talk to his parents and realize they're still alive and they can all get out together. But they never really do anything at all with the mice that is given to him that he brings to the hotel. They might as well not be in the movie at all. They don't actually do anything.
I think they only really exist for 2 purposes. One is to show people being afraid of mice, especially the wait staff or whatever, and how like dangerous that makes it for them
like,
later.
We can't have mice in the hotel.
Yeah, there's that, and then also to establish that he is building some like mega complex for his rats that are he's eventually gonna inhabit himself, but like not important details. You know what I mean? Not anything that could be established elsewhere.
Yeah, they kind of like his parents die in a car crash. And it seems like that should be more of a focal point of the movie, but they just kind of move right along, and they really don't revisit it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just an excuse for him to be living with his grandma, which his parents don't really need to die for that to happen. And like, she can live with them.
Yeah, or he could go stay with her for the summer, or
Yeah,
exactly.
whatever.
Like, there's no, I don't know, and there's a lot of threads in this though that don't get resolved. Like I love the little girl with the painting story, just as like, it just as an enclosed evil thing. Like, it felt very Are You Afraid of the Dark to me, and I loved that. But then Angelica Houston sees a little girl in a picture frame at the hotel.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I guess the only thing it accomplishes is just showing that she's like gleefully evil, which we see in every other thing she does. So
I love that story where like the dad, I love this idea. He sends his little girl down the street to get a liter of milk, like all alone, and then she gets got by a witch. Like, that idea is like, so nobody would ever do that, like, go down the road alone, child, for any reason.
I don't know, man.
I mean, Grandma's telling the story from when she was, so this was made in 1990, and so Grandma's, let's say, in her 70s, 60s.
Sure, I'm saying now. Like,
now.
What a quaint
Sure, not
idea.
now.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, people would do that.
I'm sure. Yeah,
people
of
do
course.
send their kids on errands, but not these days. Really.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Like
it's a very horrific idea to live your entire life trapped in a painting and then just die and vanish.
It is. No, yeah.
It's very grim, and it's like extremely
grim.
dark. Like, there's a few moments like that where it's like, whoa, that is way darker than the cadence of this movie. Like, it's just kind of, you got to rub at it just a little bit, and you're like, okay,
because they're not saved, like, they're not taken out of the paintings or whatever. Even honestly, we don't know, at the very end, this witch just comes along and wraps everything up in a nice bow, but we never actually see Bruno get saved. Stuff like, and honest. No,
sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, even up until that point, it was kind of sad where they were just like, I'm going to live like a mouse. And like the grandma's weeping and the kid's like, no, grandma, it's okay. I'm going to live like a mouse. How long do mice live or whatever? It's like, that's pretty dark.
How long do mice live? That line it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they included that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask Bob, do you want to spill the beans on that trivia, or should I? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know exactly, so go for it.
Well, okay, so that ending is a famous rewrite from the book. In the book, the kids stay mice. That's how the book ends. And in fact, Roald Dahl saw this cut of the movie and tried to get his name removed from it. He was so upset and so pissed off that they would do that. Eventually, I guess Jim Henson talked him out of that in some way. But yeah, that was a big bone of contention. And so, like, in the original story, Roald Dahl does have some bleak shit in his books. It's very light and childlike, but there's some dark shit under the surface there too. So I don't think that's incongruous. However, I do think it would have been a huge fucking bummer if they had just ended with him being a mouse. I think they could have like sidestepped it. I think they played the grandma crying scene and that ADR bit with Luke to make us like really feel the sadness about his situation so that they could then Deus Ex Machina
save him. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, this woman has no reason to help them. Like, wouldn't she just take over as the High Witch? Like, wouldn't she just
wouldn't she just bring over some witches from America? Yeah.
So
why does she suddenly like kids? I don't get it.
She's like hinted at being a good witch, because when she is, you have to like very much read into it. It's barely hinted. Whenever they all go to dinner and like kind of kick her out of their little squad, and then she quits, she sits down and says, well, I never wanted to be like them anyways. So like, she's, I guess, the one good witch in the batch or something.
Well, that's the thing, is I kind of feel like that whole thing was very hastily added in the end to the point where like, I kind of feel like she wasn't maybe even a character before they were already shooting. You know what I mean? It feels that slapdash to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
I would have been
tacked on.
fine if they ended it with them staying as mice. You don't even necessarily have to say how long do mice live. But yeah, I mean, because I mean, if I did read, I can't remember, I did read, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book, and it might do a similar type of thing where in the movie of Charlie and the original Willy Wonka movie,
Yeah.
They do make like a throwaway line of kind of like, yeah, and all the kids will be restored as normal, just as bad as they were before they came in or whatever. But I'm thinking now, and I'm like, that's probably not in the book either. So in the book of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you probably just assume these fucking kids are dead, and they don't tell you otherwise. That they're, I mean, you know, yeah.
I can tell you the answer to that actually. Like the kids don't die. They are seen at the end of that book. Okay. But they all have like very significant changes. The one that the one that I remember is, I think it was Violet Beauregard, who was the blueberry. She was squeezed, and so she's like 6 feet tall and rail thin now. Or some shit. Like shit like that. Like they clearly come out the other end.
There was some punishment, that came with it.
Like they're altered in the same way that him, like Luke being a mouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, pretty freakishly altered.
Yeah,
this guy really hated kids, right? Like, seems like that's
maybe
consistent throughout his work. Did you guys notice whenever Angelica Houston was on stage and she brings Bruno up for like his transformation, like as he's approaching the stage, she's like rolling her pelvis in a very sexual way?
Yes. I did notice that.
Really a weird moment.
It was. And even when he's transforming, everyone's having like this group orgasm.
I watched weird. I don't remember what it was, but like I felt like I heard somewhere that like that was part of the direction. Like she was like the Grand High Witch should be like sexual even if she's in her like fucking disgusting makeup or whatever. Like she's got a sexual element to her, and I don't know why that is. I feel like what is the morality tale in that? Like I feel like it's
It only happens when the kid enters, which was like the weird part. Like,
well, that was the weirdest one. But like, she's constantly like doing like she's got a little bit of like.
But in that moment, I think if I remember right, because it was like freaking me out. But like when he's transforming, I thought like all the witches were kind of like getting in on it too, or whatever.
They may have been. But I just remember focusing on. It looks like she's about to soak her draws. Damn.
I know what you're talking about.
Damn, girl.
I think of it like in that moment, like, yes, she kind of looks like that, but she's also like narratively, she's repulsed by this thing. So it's like almost like sexually dry heaving. That's fucking weird. Yeah. It's very strange. But, she's supposed to be repulsive.
Dry heaving in my draws.
That's just what people like, man. That's just what they like.
Yes, that's what a boy likes.
Damn, I don't even know what that means.
I like that. I don't
sexual dry heaving.
But yeah, I like, so I will say too, another kind of so the thing that always sticks out to me is the transformation scenes. Bruno is, that's a big thing with the smoke, and then the kind of like sweaty little rat face that you get, and then the transformation, and then of course at the end the big transformation, and them all kind of going through that same process. But after that, so I was kind of surprised by a couple of things. After that, that didn't happen until more than halfway through the film. So it was right around, I think, the 45-minute mark, and this movie's right at like a little bit shorter, I think, than 90 minutes. And so the whole first half is a lot of setup. And then after that, I did kind of get frustrated by the kind of running around until we get to the diner scene. So the going into the room and just like crawling through the hallways or getting to grandma, and just again, like grandma is said a bajillion fucking times, like grandma, like, I'm like, dude.
That second act really draws on, man.
It did, yeah. I really felt it this time. Them like the kitchen is fine, but like, I feel like by the time he gets to the kitchen, he's going through all the thing. Like that scene is fine to me, but I feel like the previous scenes kind of wore me out to where I was just like, all right, I'm kind of ready to move on here.
The kitchen scene is one of the scenes that it really is burned into my memory from when I saw it as a kid. Like the idea of a rat or a mouse crawling up your pant leg, like into your crotch, like mortified
That's
me.
horrible. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I still have like a bit of that. I don't know, that sort of horrific reaction when I watch that scene. But it's funny. It's goofy. They're like trying to take his pants off, and he refuses to stop mixing the bowl, like with the rag.
Yeah, he
in
kept
his
mixing. That was pretty
Mr.
funny.
Bean takes the bowl
and he
mixes it.
keeps going. So it's funny.
That's one of the
but,
scenes
like,
that I had the exact opposite feeling about that scene. It's like I kind of always forget about that scene and like how the movie was. I think that like the thing that always sticks out in my head in this movie is the first all the way up until the transformation, and then a little bit after, maybe a couple of odd things here and there. But like when they transform into mice and they have their first couple conversations as mice, I think that's like, I'm just like, okay, where does this go again? I don't remember how they resolved this shit.
That's fair, yeah.
Because that's the seminal scene for me. But like there's a lot of cool shit I think that happens on the front end, like the painting thing, like shit like that I like. But the final transformation of the Grand High Witch into a mouse, that's great, and I can't believe that I forget that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I forget that part.
She's so heinous looking.
Cool.
Also, shortly after that, when Mr. Bean cleaves her and her like mouse blood spatters on his face, that's like a pretty gruesome thing to have in a child's movie.
You're an inhuman monster!
It is.
Yeah, it is. Like, and also like the way people crush these witch mice and they like spurt like little like water balloons filled with green tempera paint. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why you don't piss off the wait staff. They're going to poison your soup and you're going to turn into a mouse and get cleaved or stomped to death.
I feel like this hotel was going to close down as soon as Donald Sutherland showed up anyway. There's definitely a rat shit in their soup.
Oh, there's rat shit everywhere.
If it's a caper,
there is.
Eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it.
I will. R.I.P. Pour one out.
Pour one out for Donald
That just
Sutherland.
happened, yeah.
Oh, man.
Very sad.
Damn.
What a bummer. That's
sex symbol that he is.
He was.
If you guys haven't listened to our Invasion of the Body Snatchers episode, there's a short little moment where we're talking about him being a sex icon, and Randy hesitates really hard because
he's not sure if he's dead
or
dead. Not, which
you
is
don't know
crazy
to say,
that
like,
he just died.
He is a sex
like 2
icon
days
or was
later.
a sex icon. Yeah, and then he died like a week after. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah,
But
I brought that upon the poor man.
I know.
Randy's pause in that
Bad guy.
moment is funny as fuck.
so
but then it's crazy. The timing is insane.
But yeah, I will say, I was gonna say the effects, not only are the effects good for like the transformation scenes, but I like the more kind of subtle things that they do too, where she's putting on the face. Like sometimes she'll be in her room and just the way that so I will say that those are creative shots because you have this like fake face and like the way that they position the camera and it looks like she's able to just like slap it on, which is for a kid's movie. I will say that's really effective and fun because you have spy movies that do shit like that, Mission Impossible, where people change their face completely. But to have these ridiculous proportions, her nose is so fucking long, but to put on this this mask and look like a regular person, that's such a fun kid aspect, and I think they do a really good job with those scenes.
I agree. It's kind of like an Edgar from Men in Black situation where it's like I love what they cram into this form. Yeah. Just like I don't know, and it's like it works. It's interesting because like it's very cartoonish, and actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I didn't remember this until just now, but the illustrations in the book look like these grotesque creatures look like the illustrations Roald Dahl put together in the book. They're clearly inspired by that. I had forgotten that, but like he drew them as quite fucking disgusting. Yeah. So like it's very true to the book in that way, which is crazy actually, because it's extra grotesque in life. I don't know. It's like when you see people taking kids' drawings and professional artists redoing them and making like whatever they drew into like hyper realism or whatever. Or when you see those illustrations of like Homer Simpson but with real skin like textures and shit like that. And it's very fucking uncanny and strange. Yeah. That's kind of the note that hits with this. It's still cartoonish though because it's literally based on a cartoon.
Yeah. But yeah, they play all the flesh tones, and they're not green and purple or something. It looks like real saggy skin.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Every there's like just a bunch of like ball looking folds all over them. Like it's fucked up.
And their chins are just ugh.
Her chin looks like a ball sack. Like we can get like a hairy ball sack for sure.
Yeah. Is that my ball sack on her?
A ball chinian.
It's a hoe. Speaking of Men in Black, deep cuts.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything else you guys have to hit on before
I don't know what else to say about this movie.
I would even say, actually, even the women, I guess they do a good job. All the women who play witches, even when they're not in their witch form, when they're they're being kind of devious and stuff, they do a good job. I think they play up the cheesiness of these. They pick these kind of women who just seem, I don't know. I think they do a good job of.
Did you notice there's a lot of dudes in there?
There's a lot of dudes.
I did, actually. Yeah. I did know. Well, I actually didn't notice there were a lot of dudes. I noticed like a couple. I was like, I think that's a dude.
Like half the background witches are men, or
that makes sense. Because I was thinking of this idea of taking this idea of what kids would imagine women who would be disguised as witches, and kind of playing that up. I thought that they captured that well. So it kind of makes sense that they would have like some dudes in there.
Yeah.
They probably
I didn't know there was that many. Probably, yeah. It seemed like everybody was kind of having, everybody was leaning into it like the perfect amount.
Yeah.
It also just feels like this movie does the same thing that Willy Wonka does, where it kind of just doesn't feel like it belongs to any specific time or place, even though they're in specific times or places. It feels
a little timeless,
distant from reality in that way, like dreamlike in that way, where it's like.
And the setting helps with that. The coast and this hotel. You're separated from a kind of
multinational kids and things. Yeah, like there's definitely some of that helps with it. But I don't even remember where they are when they're at the hotel itself, but I know they started in Germany, right? And then they ended up
probably Blackstool.
And then they went back to England, I think.
Of course.
I think they went back to England, but I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I think they're hanging out in Blackstool.
This movie oddly reminds me of Brain Dead.
Brain Dead.
It's that one with the lawnmower.
Yeah, with all the super hardcore practical effects, and the pudding, but sub that for the soup. And
the mom,
the transformation.
They're all saggy and gross.
It's just like a way more hardcore adult version, kind of. But it feels it's like in a faraway in New Zealand, in a faraway.
Maybe because of those kind of like practical effects. Maybe that's why you're kind of connecting
in a big house versus a big hotel. It just
it's also the kind of camera, like the kind of lens
too,
I think that they're using. It's like
and the
kind of
color grading seems kind of similar. Maybe too.
Early 90s, so it kind of has a similar look to it.
I gotcha.
It's just it kind of reminds me of that for various reasons.
I could see that. Yeah.
And somebody says Lionel a billion times in that movie, so similarity there. Instead of Grandma, it's Lionel.
Me mum. So there you go. There's perfect double feature. Brain Dead and The Witches.
If you like The Witches, you'll love Brain Dead.
Hello.
I recommend. So let's go ahead and rate this thing. Let's do it. Out of 5, Randeezy, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel about The Witches?
Yeah, I feel like mostly good about this movie. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, and I don't know how much I'll set that aside and how much I'll embrace it, but so I'm just going to talk myself through it. But the effects really are the standout here. The dings I have are, like I said, like the color and camera work when it's not like it has some good moments. The camera work does, but there's a lot of moments where it feels cheaper than the rest of the movie, and I really felt that this time. More than I have in the past. I feel like the Deus Ex Machina of the assistant saving the day is kind of unearned and kind of slapdash. I feel like narratively, this is like not just that it's for kids. It's also seems kind of that element in particular seems kind of forced. And there's quite a bit in there that like feels like you really have to put your brain on the back burner to just let it pass. And which is fine. Because again, who this is for, is not me now. It's me when I was 7. So I don't know. Like, there's a lot I like about this movie, and quite a few things that just don't hit my adult film dork brain the same way now that I have to accommodate for. And I think after all that said and done, I still enjoy this movie quite a lot. I have quite a fondness for it, but on a few technical aspects, I'm not super on board with it. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5, I think.
3.5 from Randy Juice. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel in a similar way. I was just trying to go over some looking at some kids horror movies and how I kind of feel about them. This is definitely up there for kids horror movies, and a lot of that, like Randy said, comes from the Jim Henson aspect of it. And the practical effects really stand out and are memorable. And then there's some other good stuff too. But I do think that there is this kind of level difference between some of my like absolute cherished favorite children's horror movies and this one. And some of it's hard because some of them are like animations. Like you look at a Coraline, I'm like, okay, that's like way better in a lot of aspects. So, yeah, so I mean, it does drop it down a little bit, but the negatives I noticed this time was that second act, like you said, it just kind of like drags along, and I was kind of surprised it took so long to get to the mice aspect, even though I do agree with you, there is a lot of good stuff leading up to that. The painting, like I said, a lot of those shots where they're like putting on the fake faces, the transformation, of course, all that stuff is good. Even getting to the hotel and it's just got that kid aspect of it, like running around wild in this big hotel. We see that in a lot of kids' movies anyway. So, I mean, it's balancing it well in the first act, and then it seems to like drag itself in the second act, but that's where all the action is. So that's kind of weird. Yeah, I like it. I just think that it's played a lot. I think I don't like the ending, and I think there are some aspects in this movie where they rely too heavily on it's made for kids without necessarily making good decisions. Like I think the kids aspects like mask some of those maybe like poor decisions in general. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 3.5. I think it's a good kids horror movie, but ultimately it's just kind of capped. Bob, out of 5, what you gonna give the Beaches?
So I think we're all mostly on the same page here. I think this is a very good kids horror movie, but it's not a great kids horror movie. I think it leaves a lot on the table, leaves too much on the table. I think there was a really great opportunity they missed that may have been included in the book and just not ported over to the movie. But there is. They set up this kid losing his parents and then just really gloss over it and don't do anything with it. I think they could have like really dove more into that in the story and fleshed out the second and third act and made it less boring, whether or not it turns out the mice that he's given are his parents, or maybe he thinks they are and gets excited and then realizes they're not, and there's some sort of like lesson learned. There's some sort of like catharsis angle that is like set up in this movie like so clearly to me that they just really, really don't do anything with, which it holds it back, I think. However, if you're like a 5-year-old watching this, you're not going to give a shit. But I think it's that primarily for me is what's keeping it from being a great movie, a great kids movie anyways. They set up this sort of like good witch situation. They set up the grandma versus the head witch situation, but they never really developed those either. There's just so much on the table that they just don't do a lot with. What's here, though, I think there's a lot of comedy. The acting, for the most part, I think is done very well. Even when it comes to the kids, if they're not like great actors, they're acting like children. They're goofy. They're saying silly things. The practical effects are phenomenal pretty much across the board. I love how they set it up at the beginning as like this sort of classic fairy tale with all the witch rules, and they sort of outline how these witches can kill children in kind of any way they want, I guess. We get at least 2 different ways in this movie, but you're sort of left to believe that whatever potion they can come up with or whatever curse they can throw, they can murder these kids in any way they want to. Why they hate kids, we don't know. Maybe just because they smell like dog shit. Maybe that's the only reason.
Like nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
In my life,
In
kids.
my life. So I think there's a lot of fun stuff here for kids. There's a lot of spooky stuff here for kids. Some of it still holds up. The mouse running up the dude's pant leg is like true horror for me, I think. So there's stuff here, but it could have been better overall. Yeah.
That's funny. That's a very specific thing to have hang up about. I think.
It sticks out to me for whatever reason.
Must.
You
really must hate Richard Gere a lot.
We all know what that man's up to, and as long as he keeps it in the bedroom and it's consensual, that's okay.
Between him and the gerbil?
Yeah, you gotta the gerbil.
I don't know.
Sign
Can
off.
gerbils
That's
consent?
consensual.
Paul on the dotted line there, gerbil.
Bob's fine
Christ.
with that. It's on record.
It's as long as it's consensual. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. So we're all pretty much on the same page here with this one.
Okay, across the board.
Yep.
Whoa.
3.5
Nice.
aggregate from the Straight Chilling crew. As is per usual, whenever you guys pick a movie that you'd like us to review, we suggest that you're very welcome to send in an email or a voicemail with your own thoughts and rating. And Matt sent over an email. Juice, you got that?
Yep, here are Matt's thoughts. Hello, Straight Chillin' crew. I hope y'all enjoyed this 1990s childhood classic. I picked this movie because I wanted to have y'all do another children's horror film again. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. It's been a while, not since Coraline, I think. Damn, has it been that long? Sharing our love of horror and spooky season can be a great way to bond with children in our lives. This movie carries a lot of weight for me, as in why I like creepy stuff and want to bang witches and all that. Damn, this is the one that makes you want to bang witches. That's interesting. The child acting is a little rough watching it now, but I think all the adults do a pretty bang up job. I believe the practical effects in the movie are superior to the CGI mess within the 2020 remake. I've never seen that. The film quality really puts you in the time and place. It has a charm to it that's missing in films today. All in all, for children's horror, the movie is a big hitter, 3.75. Signed, Bridge Troll Matt. P.S. Bob, you wonder if I would fuck a pod person. You wonder? Really? You wonder? I find this an insult to my honor, my religion, and our friendship. Please get your head on straight. Hashtag throbbing with soju. Wow.
Hey, fuck you.
I think that last bit was tacked on there by your boy Matt. We all know.
Speaking of slapdash endings,
we all know that you're DTF, and that is indeed your religion.
Oh yeah,
I'm a practicing DTF.
I can get behind that.
A level 9 DTFer. That's my religion.
Whoa.
But yeah, thanks for picking this one, man. It's definitely something that I was happy to revisit. I have not seen that remake, but man, those trailers looked not good.
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
Seemed like a lot.
So yeah, it
I've never heard any good thing about it. Like I've never heard anybody be like, "Oh yeah, you really got to watch this." So
it has
I haven't either.
That Hocus Pocus 2 vibe going for it. Like,
oh yeah,
is what it. I don't know. It's
I forgot that existed. Oh my god,
that makes perfect sense.
Oh man,
because there's no reason to remember it.
Oh no,
there's no reason to remember.
Oh no,
that's funny.
But yeah, this was a fun one to revisit, and I think it's really cool to every once in a while hit up a kid's horror movie, because most of the time, we're not doing that, but I think it's important. It's important to have around, and it's important to keep making. And I wonder what kids are watching now. The YouTubes, right? Mostly the back rooms.
They're just watching the YouTube.
They're watching Skibbity Toilet Saga.
I meant like in the horror genre, like what are kids into? The
yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's that he got fingered for 5 nights or whatever.
Oh God, Bob.
Children's horror, indeed.
5 Nights at Freddy's, the back rooms, I don't know what else. What else is there? That's
Bob,
all.
you're talking about some devious things going on.
Basically, reality is probably up there as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, so I was just doing a quick search of like children's horror film to compare, but I mean, I feel like in the, not too removed from today, you have stuff like The House with the Clock in its Walls or whatever, which was good. That they made like a Jack Black Goosebumps movie, which wasn't bad. Monster House isn't that old. Frankenweenie is like 10
Scary
years
Stories
old.
to Tell in the Dark. That was good.
That wasn't like so kids. Yeah, PG-13. But I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff that's still dropping. That Haunted Mansion came out last year. It was boo-boo, but some people liked it, I guess.
Some people did. I'm not sure why, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah. So, oh man, but the problem with looking at this is articles like this pop up, which is like 35 movies to watch with your kids for Halloween. And I'm like, oh, buddy.
Oh, not yet.
It's coming.
It's so close.
You know what? Like I could like this is like around this like this is like the same year or the year before The Addams Family came out, and like Angelica Houston in both of those is so fucking great, and it like permanently colored my understanding of her as a person.
Addams Family
to where like when I would watch, it's so good.
Both of them.
But like when I would watch, when I would watch Steve Zissou, Life Aquatic, with her in that or whatever, I had a hard time separating her from Morticia and the High Witch.
Her spooky side.
Completely.
Wes Anderson side.
I mean, even now it's like, maybe close to 10 years removed, but like Stranger Things,
Yeah.
Stranger Things. Super 8 came out 2011. That's,
I wouldn't call that children's, though, necessarily. That's
Super 8?
I think it was
Super 8.
Kids on Bikes, PG-13.
Yeah. I don't think that's as young as this movie is intended for.
House with Clock in its Walls came out in 2018.
Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
I got to check that out. That's actually like, it's an adaptation of a book by an author that I read a lot growing up. So
Monster House is 20 years old. Oh, God.
Oof. Yeah. That's
Paranorman's 10 years old.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Goosebumps 2015. God, I didn't realize that was that old.
Oh.
What the fuck is happening?
What is time? But a flat circle.
Time goes by.
No.
Does it stop?
Does it stop though?
It don't.
Come on, Bob.
Stop.
You're stealing my call out there.
Sorry.
It's the hype man. This shit.
Let us
hyping things.
Let us keep rolling, gentlemen. Let's jump over into our Rotten Tomatoes segment. See what the critics and users think about The Witches.
Certified.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gents guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for The Witches on RottenTomatoes.com, starting, as always, with the critical reviews. There are 48 reviews from critics in the mix here, not too many, just under that 50 mark. I'm going to start with Juice today. Juice, out of those 48 reviews, what percentage would you say are positive reviews?
Damn, 48. That's not too much.
It's not.
I don't know. I generally think this is held in a positive light. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably going to be similar to our score. I would say I'm going to put it around 80.
80. All right. Bob, you've taken over, you taken under. What you taking?
It's a fair guess. I think I'll go with the over on this.
Okay.
With a... What was her formula? 86? Or am I...
Formula 86.
I'll take the 86 then.
The boys.
All right.
The formula.
The boys. The formula boys. All right. Well, one of you is just 8 percentage points away from glory, and that person is Bob. This is a 94%.
Holy
shit. 94%.
94.
Impressive.
Whoa.
That's right.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
All right.
It's a lot,
so
too.
Congrats to Bob on that.
Whoa, that's a lot.
It is pretty much... That's not a small amount. I would argue that it's quite a lot. Yeah.
Bloody nutters.
Fucking hell.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
My favorite cookie, the Bloody Nutter.
Oh, Bob, why you gotta do that?
Wow. You said it. Wow.
Oh,
Bob's over here.
I don't like that.
Blood.
Oh no! Everybody, shut it down. We're shutting it down.
Justin's about to pass out on camera. Dude, that'd be amazing.
If we want to finish
what's
this
your problem with dick blood, bro? It's fine.
What's your problem? It's natural
bro.
to bleed from the
God
dick.
damn, boys. Y'all are going to have to Randy with his sickness and I'm going to pass out. Show's about to just fizzle
me
out.
cackling
Look, it's
into
not like
the
it's
abyss.
your dick that's bloody.
That's all that's left of the cast. People are like trying to adjust the dial. What the fuck's wrong with this episode?
I don't see any marked difference between this and any other episode. Dick blood be damned.
Just another show.
Let's move on to the audience reviews here. There are 50,000 plus audience ratings on Rotten Tomatoes for this film. I'm going to start in reverse order. Bob, out of those 50,000, did I say 5,000? I meant 50,000 if I did. Over 50,000 ratings. Bob, out of those, what percentage would you say are positive? Defend your title. Test your mind.
Bigger sample size. Going to drive the number down. I can't believe how fucking high the critics was to begin with. So I'll take a 75.
75. All right. Juice, where are you coming in at?
Damn it. That's a good guess. Yeah, I think it's going to be right around there. I agree. Big sample size. 94 is insane. I'm going to $1, Bob. 76. I think it's close.
You
I think it's
slut.
close to that.
76.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to $1.
You bloody slut.
76. The bicentennial. All right. Well, one of you is 5 percentage points away from glory, and that is going to be Babo. He's taking a sweep this week. 70% is
70%.
The mic isn't picking up the dance you just did. I assure you that.
Sorry.
A little celebration dance.
I need to dance.
That is not how
audibly.
podcasting works.
It's just so sweet.
Luckily, we have a behind the scenes.
Victory.
Man, Bob. Hell skeet sweep, I guess.
You gotta sweep the skeet. Big
Sweep
old
in the
doink.
skeet. Big old
The bloody
doinks.
skeet.
Oh, boys.
Big old doinks and Amish. Hell
That's
yes.
not okay.
Hell yes.
That's not
Right.
okay, boys.
The critics' consensus for this film reads as follows: with a deliciously wicked performance from Angelica Houston and imaginative puppetry by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, Nicolas Roeg's dark and witty movie captures the spirit of Roald Dahl's writing like few other adaptations. I guess so, yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I read my Dahl, to be honest, so I can't.
Yeah, and I've never
Can't
read this
remember.
one, so
I did. But it's been since I think it was probably literally 4th grade that I last read this.
there you go.
Yep.
Well,
All right. Well, let's read some negative reviews and wrap this goddamn segment up. How about that? Here's some negative reviews. Let's see how funny they are. And probably the record's not good on that. So we'll see. The Witches is more fun for parents than kids and not all that much fun for anyone.
all right.
I don't know how this would
Wrong.
be better for parents than kids. Like, what? I'm living proof that isn't a mistake.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lick of sense.
All right, let's read another one. The Witches feels like a throwaway feature rather than a fully realized fantasy adventure.
It's not fully realized, I don't think, but
It's not throwaway.
I think they were trying, you know.
I throw you away, sir.
Hell,
Throw you away.
hell yeah.
Reviewer.
One more. Let's see if there's any charisma in this one.
Person.
The combo of Roald Dahl and Nicolas Roeg promises something deep and dark, but Roeg unexpectedly includes ample amounts of ill-fitting humor that nullifies much of the mood. As for Dahl, he initially tried to have his name removed from the picture. Not initially, and not at all related to the humor. In the movie. Like,
I think
they
that's
said that
fine to say, like, that ending. They should have kept it. They should have kept the mice thing.
I think it's very dark, but like dark might have been good for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
think that's fine.
It's so out of nowhere. This woman, I don't know her name even now, having seen it like 2 days ago.
And there's a naked child, which is not okay.
Yeah, we kind of crossed some barriers there, and not the kind you want crossed, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Rotten Tomatoes segment. Bob, is there any more trivia you want to pull out of this thing?
Yeah, I got a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, here we go. Trivia. So this was the last film that Jim Henson personally oversaw. He passed away May 16th, 1990, and the movie was released on May 25th, 1990. In addition to that, Roald Dahl passed away November 23rd, 1990. So they...
What the fuck?
Yeah.
God damn, the witches got him.
The witches got him. He got. They got by the witches.
God.
So there were a whole shitload of people that were considered to play the Grand High Witch. Amongst them, which is sort of circles back to us talking about Hocus Pocus a lot, Cher was considered apparently.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Cher. Angelica Houston has gone on record saying that Miss Ernst / the Grand High Witch is her favorite role she's ever done, and she regularly dresses up as that character on Halloween.
That's awesome. I like Angelica Houston a lot more, just based on that one piece of information.
She seems badass.
Yeah. I saw, this is completely random, but like I was looking around for clips for Bumps Baby or whatever last minute, and I saw her on some podcast or something where the clickbait title was a quote from her saying that Jack Nicholson's dick was so huge or something along those lines.
Oh, that's really random.
I thought that was a very fucking hilarious thing to find in the middle of trying to find bumps from this children's movie.
Weird. That's
a lot of big dick swinging in Hollywood, I guess.
That's weird.
You know, Jack's got a hog. He's got a hog.
Well, all right.
Real sweaty. The last thing I have here is by the time this movie was released in the UK, Rowan Atkinson had debuted on TV as Mr. Bean in 1990. He was apparently pretty damn popular as that character. Thus, the UK poster art and video cover for The Witches added him in a screenshot from the movie that kind of made him look like he was playing as Mr. Bean character. But he obviously wasn't.
Oh, I didn't. Wow, 1990. Yeah, huh?
Yeah, I thought that was a more 80s thing for some reason.
Me too, yeah.
Maybe just because the way it looked. I don't know.
I guess they shelved this movie for like a year, so kind of sat on it for a while. He went and did other things and then put it out. Tried to cash in on that Mr. Bean fame.
Mr. Bean.
Around here, that means big money.
Mr. Bean fame. But yeah, that's all the trivia I got. Not a whole lot this week. Let's jump over into our Cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
They say a computer can do my job better than I can damn do it.
Let's just give it over to the Zoom AI.
It's
Zoom
here
AI,
for a reason,
take the
right?
wheel.
Juice, what's Cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter's character type in a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points up Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug, arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I think we got ourselves a Cooter this week.
Yep. Miss Bruno's dad.
Mrs. Bruno's dad.
No, I meant Mr. I was like Mr., but I don't know his last name. So Bruno's dad. Changed course midstream.
Okay, we can talk about Bruno's dad real quick. Smug arrogance, check-a-rooney.
Oh my yes.
Maybe some
so
sexual
much.
deviance because he's like hitting on this witch in front of his wife. Like, come on, my guy.
I agree.
Oh, we
And
can
she's
also
also-
maybe do Mr. Bean too. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, he's got Cooter written all over him.
So smug arrogance, sexual deviancy, overall patheticness.
Check.
You think so, Bob?
Yeah, he's
Give
just
us
such
your
a piece of shit to everybody. I think it's kind of pathetic.
It's arrogance for sure. Like, but like, you get arrogant
his
enough.
son
And
gets turned into also. Well, I would maybe call his parenting kind of pathetic because he's like, oh, what's Bruno done? Break some windows, fuck some shit up. Let me pay you.
Fuck some shit up with his bloody dick.
Fuck some bloody nutters up.
Your favorite cookie, right, Juice?
Oh yeah. So sexual deviance, manipulation. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
He just tries to throw his weight around. Looking at Tyre, he looks
British.
Fine dressed. Yeah,
he looks British.
He looks like royalty.
Well, he's not wearing socks and sandals and a football jersey.
Oh God, that would be looking at Tyre. Oh, socks and sandals. If you're listening to this podcast, do not wear socks and sandals. Don't do it. Don't wear sandals, actually. Unless you're wearing flip-flops to the beach, don't wear sandals.
I'm going to wear them even harder.
You just lost us thousands of listeners by saying that.
All in Great Britain.
I'm just trying to help you. Socia's just trying to help you out. All right. So let's go to Mr. Bean. Sexual deviance? Yes.
Yes.
Is it sexual deviance?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's sleeping with his employee. You shouldn't sleep with your employees.
That's fair. Yeah, okay, yeah. Deal.
Yeah,
come on, boys. Come on. Soju's the only one around here.
Woke ass Soju out here, virtue signaling his way to victory.
Ruining our show. Welcome to Wokecast. Oh my.
Trying to confuse me with your liberal biblicisms.
My liberal biblicisms. So I would say maybe that's the only one he hits, though, to be fair, though. Maybe overall patheticness. He gets bossed around a lot.
He does, but he also is like constantly.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's gonna hit.
He's kind of just sniveling as fuck. Like, that's not a maybe that
kind of pathetic. That would be the patheticness. Yeah.
He's kind of like a shit-eating motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's just a shit-eating motherfucker.
God damn.
I think we can all agree on that.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. There's all kinds of pieces of shit in this world. Not everyone is.
They're not all cooters.
That's right.
They don't all eat shit or fuck mothers. I don't think he's gonna. Whoa. What about the witches? Grow up! Grand High Witch specifically, but all the witches really, because they're all following what she tells them to do. So they're definitely got manipulation, smug arrogance. I think both of those for sure. Looking at Tyre, I think, is an easy one.
Yeah, their saggy ass skin. Jesus Christ.
Sexual deviance, I don't think that's going to hit.
Well,
I don't know that
if you count your Bruno.
Well, that's true, dude. If she actually was getting sexual gratification, that's what it looked like. I guess we can't prove it, but it looked like she was
keeping the beat,
creaming her jaws.
I think at that point she was dusting her draws.
Oh my God. It's probably green. Anyway, let's move on. I think that's a cooter.
Girl, these straws are dusty.
Jesus Christ.
Were you cutting wood or
I don't like the look of it.
What?
Been cutting planks in these shorts, girl?
Cutting planks. What's with the sawdust?
That's my wood cutting panties.
Dear God. Hey, I think we locked up a cooter, didn't we?
Yeah, the Grand High Witch and all the other witches, I think. Yeah. Oh, just all the witches, I think, got them.
The Cruelty to Children Committee or whatever.
Cooter Light, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
He just sucks.
Yeah, he just sucks. We got him. Lock
him up.
Boys,
right, what's up?
I think let's skip what we've been watching because we got a pile of voicemails. So let's go ahead and get into our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you guys are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got 3 voicemails this week. First up, we're going to hear from Alex. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hi, guys. This is Alex. I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller. You didn't make it that easy to leave a voicemail because the phone number isn't posted anywhere, and I had to go back and listen to the episode. Anyway, so I have a prompt. I was wondering if you could choose a horror movie setting where you'd want to live, what would it be? Mine would be The Fog, because it's a super quaint, cute little seaside town. And what made me think of that is because my husband and I just moved down to Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the new Thanksgiving film was supposedly filmed. Although not really, because no one sounds like Ben Affleck in a Dunkin' commercial. And I also saw on social media there was a question on which cartoon setting people would want to live in that they watched as a kid. So yeah, I would want to live in the town that The Fog was filmed in, and the one I would least want to live in is in The Thing, because I hate the snow. Anyway, I love you guys, and I love how silly and giggly you were in the latest Mothman episode. I don't know if you guys had a bunch of candy beforehand, but lots of giggles. Very fun to listen to. Talk to you later. Bye.
How did she stumble on our scheme to get more listens by only having our phone number listed in the episode? Brilliant.
We're all hopped up on candy. That's what it is.
Yes. Candy.
It's called sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
A candy called sleep deprivation.
The sweetest candy of all. Sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a solid question.
That is a
horror
cool
movie
question,
setting you'd like to live in. Honestly, The Fog is a solid choice.
It's a good choice.
Solid choice, yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts?
I mean, my immediate feeling, like I feel like this is definitely subject to change because I'm freewheeling here a little bit, but I love the Pacific Northwest a lot. So the town of Twin Peaks, I think, qualifies maybe, and I would pick that. A place I would least like to, though, I was thinking
Hills Have Eyes.
Well, that's pretty fucking raw. Yeah, it's sandy, so you might have actually taken over. I was gonna say on the other end of the Lynch spectrum, I would very much not to like to live in the city that Eraserhead takes place.
There you go.
A heinous nightmare seascape. But yeah, I maybe the sand is more attuned to my personal hates. What about you guys?
I was thinking, since we were just talking about last week, it's not technically horror, but like Goonies popped in my head, or even on the city that Dead and Buried was in, looked like pleasant. It's another one of those kind of like seaside towns, or small kind of seaside towns. Also, too, the beginning, I love the beginning of Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's one that I love to like kick off every autumn with. And it, like, for an autumn setting, if I had to like go to a little small town for autumn, it would be that's my autumn vacation home. Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I mean, you could easily, I could just say like As Above, So Below. Want to live in Paris, or Godzilla -1. Want to live in
the catacombs? The catacombs adjacent to hell?
Well, I could start
who
off,
doesn't?
Who can afford the rent though?
Well,
yeah. I know.
Yeah,
if we're counting the Goonies, then I would say Astoria, because I've lived there and it is fucking a great town. I love that town.
It looks beautiful.
But
it really does. Yeah, the Goonies, that would be great. The Fog, The Mist, any of these like little seaside towns, little communities look beautiful.
Jaws.
I think Trick or Treat, whatever town that is, man, they do
great.
They do fall/Halloween.
That's your fall home
so well.
Yeah.
Like that giant parade they have rolling through. Like, man, sign me the fuck up for that. That sounds awesome.
I would say, that sounds great. I kind of had the same thought. If we're going with a Halloween home, I'm going with the unknown.
That's the thing. You got a summer home, you got an autumn, because like the little town of the birds would be like so pleasant.
Oh my God, I've been there too. You're there as well, and it is beautiful.
But yeah, so I keep thinking like these summer destinations for the beach, but then I need an autumn destination for the
4. We should one for each season.
Amity, as you know, means friendship. So
as you know,
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of good choices, but yeah, some seaside town plus some awesome autumn location. That's what we need.
Yeah, we need a timeshare in Salem or some shit, or in the unknown.
Join the straight chilling timeshare. All you have to do is give us 15 minutes of your time, and you won't regret it. I swear.
Oh, yeah. If you stick around to the end, you'll get some delicious candy called sleep deprivation.
We accept Bitcoin.
It's free. Yeah, that's a solid prompt. Actually, if you guys are listening and you're thinking of some awesome settings that you'd like to live in or would hate to live in, call in next week. Let us know. That's a good one. Next up, moving right along, we're going to hear from Sarah. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hey guys, this is Sarah. Last time I called was in October, I believe, or September. It was just about having like a Halloween themed movie marathon, and that was super fun, but I never updated y'all. So I just wanted to chat and catch up. So first of all, let me wish you guys a happy summer, specifically a happy summer theme. According to Gravity Falls, that's June 22nd. And I don't really know exactly what I'll be doing during June, like for the rest of this month, but I'm pretty tired from school and work, so just keeping my celebration of the start of spooky season super simple with some s'mores, apple cider, and another horror movie marathon. So my goal for the movies is to keep it summer themed, so I'll be rewatching Evil Dead and then watching Sleepaway Camp and X for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyways, I was going through some older episodes for the podcast, like around episode like 360 or so. And somewhere around there, y'all mentioned making movies or films as kids, and I was wondering, like, what kind? Was it always the horror genre? Was it during high school, or were you guys younger? I'm just wondering if you guys would be able to spare any details, because it piqued my interest. Also, around that same, I think it was the Clue episode specifically, but Randy was reading some pretentious negative reviews, and he took it so personally. He said, and I quote, "He can safely feast on my taint." And on that note, I'll end the message. Yeah, that's all for me. Keep telling, boys.
Thank you, Sarah. I stand by that wholeheartedly. No
Randy
shame
has made
whatsoever.
that statement a few times.
It's his slogan, really, now.
That's how he lives his life.
I'm all about safety, and I'm all about giving motherfuckers what they deserve.
Taint feasting?
I think my preferred is the wettest part of my ass, maybe. Is something like that.
Fattest, wettest part of my asshole. Yes. That is something that I have.
That's somewhere in our history. Yeah, I don't know where,
also,
but it's out
this
there.
Movie is a fart in the pants of America. Is probably another one I got a lot of feedback on.
If you have access to our like 100 wrap up clips or whatever compilation, it's probably in there somewhere.
It's 200, 300.
But at that point, going through all those would probably take a couple hours as well. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Godspeed with that. Also, a summer movie marathon. Sounds like a pretty damn good one.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that sounds fucking
good
great.
Call. X for the first time is a good way to cap that off.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's solid. That's great.
Yep.
I'd never really watched Gravity Falls, so the concept of Summerween being on June 22nd, that was unfamiliar to me. Did you watch that show? You familiar with that?
I never did.
So I tried to watch a little bit, but like only season 2 is on Disney. So when we went to Japan last year, I remember suddenly it was in the Japan Disney Plus, and so I watched a couple episodes. But when I got back to Korea, it was back only season 2, so I never finished it. But I think that might be the solstice is June 22nd.
Oh, maybe
summer solstice. I think that's what it might be.
That makes
Purgasnot and Summerween. Yeah, we got it made, baby.
And just actual Halloween. We got 3 in a year.
I know. It's great.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. So Friday. So this one said, man, I don't know if it changes based on like the lunar code, but this one said Friday, June 21st at 5:50 a.m. was the summer solstice. So maybe it's got like a little shift or whatever. So yeah, around June 22nd.
Nice.
That's She had said something else in there too that I was going to react to.
She was asking about the home movies we used to make when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
Right. Horror movies? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I
don't think we were bold enough to do that.
Yeah,
it was just skits, and a lot of them done with like action figures that we were filming as we moved them. Like we did some bad stop motion, terrible stop motion. I remember the one I remember doing like. Actually, no, we did. Oh, I did anyway. This actually wasn't with you guys. It was with our buddy Alex and a few other people. We did, and Chris. We did a sort of a Scream parody-ish thing where it was like a murder mystery sort of thing where the person who was killing people was wearing literally a one of the Scary Movie Scream masks with a silly face on, and it was a very, very, very dumb thing that I really love. I still have a VHS copy of that. And then there's one that you and I did, Bob, that was not horror at all, but it was us starting the microwave with, I think, a burrito in it while Mr. Biggs, what is it?
No, it was
Next to Be With You.
Was that? I thought we did something with green onions too. Maybe we did a Mr. Big.
We did both.
Thing. Okay.
But I think we did Mr. Big for sure. I just filmed it like it was our random equals LOL phase of life. And
some random stuff. We made a shot, this like short skit thing about like when you're going to the car, whoever calls shotgun rides up front.
Shotgun, yeah.
And it escalated into this brawl where people were getting like murdered and super goofy.
I remember I jumped. We had like an awesome shot of me coming out of the pool holding a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Oh my god! Holy shit, dude! Blast from the past. It was like
bad fight sequences. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Holy fuck! Yeah. We did that one about the joke with the duck with the bill or whatever.
The apothecary and about like the cackling or whatever.
Doug walks into an apothecary and says, "Put it on my bill."
Yeah,
that's
greatest
right.
joke
That's right.
I've ever told.
And we did that like
there was
puppet
that
thing,
music video thing.
Yeah, that's what I.
Shadow
puppet thing.
Shadow puppets. Yeah.
That was like a 24-hour, or not even 24 hours. It was like an 8-hour production that we just kind of threw together. We worked hard on it
with about at least a dozen people in my parents' Florida room.
It was a music video for our buddy Alex. And it was
he wrote a song.
Fun as fuck.
Yeah, it was great. That's that's still out there. I don't know if anything else is out there.
Think that's on YouTube somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this I would actually share with anybody because
Yeah, but no real horror. Pretty much comedy.
No horror stuff. Yeah.
Goofy nonsense.
I don't think any of us believed we could be scary, but we believed we were funny as fuck.
It was killing
that's
time.
Been the through line of our whole lives. We think we're hilarious.
Yeah, we make each other laugh. That's fine.
That's all it takes, really.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks for calling, Sarah. Hope you had a happy summer ween and you're enjoying X and all your other summer-themed horror movies. That sounds like a solid lineup you got. Last but not least, we're going to hear from your boy, Steve. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey there, yes, stud muffins. It's Steve. So here I am a few weeks late, just devastated to hear that my double voicemail from a few weeks ago was cut off, just cut down in its prime. And then to hear, hey man, just call back with what you had to say. I don't fucking remember what the hell I said. Actually, I did have everything. I went on such a rant. I actually texted bullet points to myself. That's how much I felt committed. I was about to downplay it, self-deprecate, but that's how committed I am to you guys. I'm going to spin it positive. Anyway, so I left off at saying, hey, those Haunting in Venice movies. I do remember that part. Someone, one of you fine gentlemen, had mentioned that you also recently learned that it's part of a trilogy. I had no idea. So I watched the Haunting in Venice movie. I loved it. I had never heard of that Hercule Poirot, Hercules Poirot for us ignorant Americans. No idea. Never heard of that character before. Didn't know it was an Agatha Christie book. I was like, huh, that's why this bitch is popular. These are pretty good. So anyway, love that movie. Again, that atmospheric tone, I just fucking love it. Like that spooky castle, the World War II time period setting. Everything was just so good. I'm like, God damn, this is why like 4K exists. Maybe for something cooler. I don't know, like the wave scene in Interstellar, something like that. But it didn't hurt. It was awesome. Really enjoyed it. So after one of you mentioned that there were two others, I watched Death on the Nile, did a little research, Death on the Nile, and then Murder on the Orient Express. And the Orient Express was fantastic. It's not spooky. It's just like a whodunit. But again, it's on this like snowy train. All these years ago, it's just a really cool vibe, and I love that movie. It did not end like I thought it was going to. I'm like, I got this shit figured out. I did not have it figured out. So, Death on the Nile movie, it's definitely the weakest of the three, in my opinion. Still a good movie, but yeah, they're not spooky, but if you liked The Haunting in Venice, if you kind of like that murder mystery, whatever, I would recommend checking those other two out. And my other point was the reason I'm so behind on these episodes is because I've been caught up in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm a New York Rangers fan, living in New Jersey. We were brutally knocked out by your scumbag Florida Panthers.
Just gonna have to call back again, brother.
I want to make. I gotta be honest. Look, I think it's only fair that we play his next one, and here it comes. There you go. We got you in there, buddy. Don't you worry. We look out for you.
I don't know anything.
Brutal.
I'm not on the competitive end of that, so that's
we're not. We ain't big hockey boys around here.
No.
We ain't goons. So.
I didn't even know the Stanley Cup. I don't know anything. I didn't know that Florida had a team,
know anything about
or
hockey.
what they were called, or that they were even apparently good.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm not used to Florida having winning teams of anything, so that's
well. I mean, we got
top tier
the
news.
Buccaneers and the Dolphins, Randy.
Are they good? I don't know. I don't know that shit.
Maybe.
Buccaneers won the Super Bowl like a couple years ago with Tom Brady.
Did they? Who gives a fuck? Anyway.
Oh my lord.
A lot of people, apparently. Steve.
But yeah, like the Poirot, man.
Oh yeah, so
Poirot,
those so there's the train one,
Orient Express,
and then the second one was on a boat in Egypt on the Nile.
Death on the Nile, yeah.
And then so they don't all have that spook because that's the whole point. Is they changed.
That's why I was so excited, like to when they announced that trailer, and I saw the Haunting in Venice trailer. I was like, oh shit, Kenneth Branagh's Poirot's back, and it's like spookified. I love this. I was so excited about that, and it's a good movie.
It is.
I think Murder on the Orient Express is my favorite, though.
They each have like a different kind of season to me because I think it's more wintry on the train one, if I remember right.
It's snowy as fuck, yeah.
And then you have the haunted one definitely has more Halloween autumn vibe, spooky, and then the Nile one feels like summer because they're on a boat on the Nile and Egypt, so it feels like hot. So it's good for each season so far.
We need spring.
I wonder if there's another one coming. I feel like there's another one coming.
In the tulip fields of the windmills.
Amsterdam 2,
something like that.
They're making a sequel. That's what it's going to be. It's a Poirot movie.
Poirot.
Well, there's no shortage of Poirot stories, as I understand it, from Agatha Christie, and those are all from.
I never saw Death on the Nile.
Agatha Christie novels.
I
never saw that one either, actually, but I had heard the same thing that he said, which is that it's kind of the weakest of the batch.
Yeah.
So I just never really got around to it.
Honestly, they're all like pretty consistently. They are what they are. They're fun for like a watch, but I never like craved to watch them. But they're fun.
Yeah,
I'd rewatch.
I like
Haunting in Venice. It was fun.
There's a lot of like purists that really don't like the Kenneth Branagh at all, but I like it fine. So they're like fun low stakes movies to me. I guess once they're the kind of movies though that once the mystery's kind of gone, I kind of lose some interest. But it's a fun ride.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way about Murder on the Orient Express. Like I watched it a couple times because I liked seeing like in process all of the dots connect. Yeah. But
they're good. I do like them. I do like them. Yeah.
Well, Well, hey, thanks
So
for
cool.
calling in, Steve. You're just gonna have to call back again, and
Is that that timer,
We're
my
gonna-
guy?
hit us up.
Yeah, get you a stopwatch, my man.
3 minutes. Set it. Again, if you guys,
Thanks for calling.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
thank
sure.
you for calling, buddy.
We give you
appreciate
shit,
it.
but we're playing.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I don't know what that means. Call in 904-638-3231. If there's a horror movie setting that you would like to live in or would hate to live in, call in. Let us know. Anything else you guys want to throw out? Any prompts for next week?
Oh man, I think that's a great prompt. Honestly, I think Alex did our work for us basically.
Next week is a movie about fashion. So, what's your most fashionable? What's your most fashionable item?
Oh man, I have none. Pass. I wouldn't know where to begin even claiming that something is fashionable, to be honest with you.
What's in fashion? Jinkos, Randy. Huge
Jinkos
giant jeans are in fashion.
I gotta get.
They are. They really are.
Oh my god! I gotta go get my Jinkos.
Oh my god!
Oh my
So
god!
Next week we're talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by Logan. The movie is Deerskin from 2019. It's the dude that directed Rubber. Oh, I'm blanking on his fucking name now. Same director though. French director.
Isn't he French? Yeah.
Yeah, French language film. Check out Deerskin. Get ready for next week's show. I was particularly excited about this one. I hadn't seen it. I watched it today, but
Quentin Dupieux.
Thank you, Dupieux.
Dupieux.
I hadn't seen it before, but I was super stoked to look at the runtime and see it was like 75 minutes long.
Yeah.
Love
This
it.
is a fun one.
Beautiful.
I'm excited
like
for next
that.
week. Get healthy, Randy,
haven't seen
so we
it
can
yet.
have a lively discussion.
Take care of yourself.
I would love to not feel like dog shit. Thank you.
You don't want to feel the way children smell? Can't imagine
That's
why.
true.
Check out Deerskin. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, call us 904-638-3231. Hit us up on the social medias. We're everywhere. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
We've got 3 cars.